Okay, I watched this segment on Bill Maher last night, and I have to say this is typical white racist bullshit when it comes to reparations. So I think at this point, I'm going to address it a couple of different ways. The first way I'm going to address it, of course, is that this argument that, justice delayed is justice denied, and that's what we went through the whole time. We went through that after segregation with the housing projects and things like that, with benign neglect. And we went through it after the Civil War. And every time there's justice for black people that should be on the table, it's a wait, we can't do it yet, we can't do it yet, 40 acres and a mule, we can't do it yet. Oh, you still talking about that? Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. We can't do nothing about that, man. That's done past. You should have said something back then. Every single time, that is the totality of the black experience. Hang on, we can't do it now. We can't get that passed. There's no way to get it done now. We're just going to have to wait. We're just going to give it some time, and then we'll come back at it later. Oh, man, you still talking about that? Yeah, man, yeah, you should ask me last week. So if you're from the hood, niggas that do that. But that's our whole experience with white people. Yeah, you should have asked me yesterday when you asked yesterday, hey, can you wait till tomorrow? And so, but also this argument.
Who actually built this country.
But
I don't see how anybody can dispute that.
But again, you didn't build this country.
So what?
You personally did.
So what? I'm a descendant.
But I'm saying we can't write a check to a ghost.
Why not?
Why not? Because
especially when the ghost's descendants are still
that's a descent.
Here. Okay. Listen, let me ask you a question. How do you right the wrong of slavery then?
A white millionaire didn't personally participate. Yeah, you did. If you live in America and you white, you participated in slavery. How'd you participate? By benefiting. Period. If you're the great-grandson of a cartel leader, you benefited. Now, you might not have been involved in dealing with the plantations or whatever else. You might be his great-grandchild in a boarding school in Europe, but that is the source of your benefit. And you're a white millionaire, Bill Maher. So the fruits of slavery go into your pocket every week. You're not the most talented or the funniest person ever. You have opportunities out of white privilege. Full stop. Then this other part of the argument that he made of, but it wasn't you that went through it. My ancestors did, Charlemagne the God said. Yeah, but not you, and I didn't do it. And this, okay, the debt is owed by America. If you don't want to pay America's debt, leave America. That's it. Don't benefit. Leave, and let America and the people who have the claim against America work that shit out. Your family doesn't have to be here, but your family won't leave, and they came here to benefit from that crime and has benefited from that crime. Now, if you're just like, well, I shouldn't have to pay for what I got from it, go. This is an A and B conversation. This is black people and America, where it was the law and everything else. And those descendants have a right to file a grievance with the country that codified slavery. Full stop, period. That's just the way governments work. You're all about land of laws and whatever else. That's how shit works. People bring grievances against the United States all the time. The government took part. There's a grievance against the government, and the government may have to pay the descendants. When do they pay the descendants? I don't know. Every fucking case in history. That's how civil suits work. My dad died in the coal mine, his family gets something. My sister died of cancer, the family gets something. Because, how do you write a check to a ghost? By compensating his family for his loss. That's how you pay a ghost. That's how they always pay a ghost. Let me give you an example. Let me black explain it to the white people in the audience, which is, you know how Ron Goldman was able to sue O.J. Simpson even though he was not murdered by O.J. Simpson? Or Fred Copeland, sorry, Ron's son. So we couldn't pay the dead person, but his immediate relatives could benefit and did. They were compensated. That's how hundreds of thousands of court cases will be brought and have been brought in this country. The survivors, those who came after, the family of, the nearest relative of. If there is money in a trust and it takes them 2 generations to follow it down the line and track down a long lost cousin on the other side of the world, then that's what it takes. At no point in any other situation is that logic used. It wasn't used for the Holocaust. It's never been used. Somebody is wronged. They're already dead. It goes to next up. And because I guess my predecessors were stupid enough to not burn this country to the ground at that time and took the okey doke of we'll get around, we'll find a way, and we'll make it right. Here we sit. And it's only so much about money. It is until you deal with it. And as long as you're making these bullshit excuses and jumping all around, America has not dealt with it. Oh, we should do like a social program. We should find some way to give it to white organizations and political apparatuses that way, because it can't be trusted in the hands of black people. We'll give it to white politicians and the school system and whatever else, because the problem is not racism in this country. It's that black people don't learn anything. We did learn how fucking racism works. And that's one of the damn ways. So, don't. I'm over it. Don't worry about it. The country is changing. It's coming to the end. You just stalled and ran out the clock anyway. So, 2 things are going to happen. One of 2 things, or both, maybe in different order. The country's going to become brown to black, and black people will pay it out of the United States. Kind of a South Africa type situation. Majority black at some point. Somebody's going to come in, sign it in the office, and it will get paid. Even if it's all black people paying it to them fucking selves, this country will acknowledge that shit and fix it. Or when we're all speaking Mandarin 100 years from now, after the collapse of all of this stuff, because America's Achilles heel is racism and they done blew it all up, storming the Capitol, then they'll erase it and the Chinese will give this former abomination equality. So either way, if white people are just still too evil and America is too entrenched and too attached to loving that crime, fine. You know, sometimes there is no contrition from criminals. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes the murderer is not sorry. Sometimes the rapist is not sorry. Sometimes you're not compensated. So you got to seek your own redress. Thank you.